Welcome to the Flag Bearer channel. This is Little Known Black History Facts. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Black and Chrome, soul on bikes. The beginning of the African American motorcycle culture was during World War II. Some of the first black bikers in post-war America were soldiers who were assigned to military police positions where they were responsible for monitoring the colored sections of segregated bases. In the aftermath of the Second World War, African American former soldiers returned to the U.S. from combat and were assigned roles within the local military bases, still mainly patrolling the African American section of segregated bases. They did so on their Harley-Davidson bikes. Many African American soldiers took their thrill of motorcycling and started a new legacy. The revolution started in the late 1940s as black infantrymen streamed home from World War II, eager to replace the adrenaline rush of combat. Post-war surplus bikes were available and cheap. In this era of segregated America, some dealers wouldn't sell a new bike to African Americans. Factions began to form out of the love of the motorcycle. Some rode choppers, some rode dressers. The next step was the motorcycle club. Some all black, others integrated. Black motorcycle clubs have existed for decades across the country, but they have not historically been well known or popularized outside of their black communities. The typical representative of an American motorcycle rider was a white man on the open road, but black Americans are just as steeped in motorcycle history and culture. Harley-Davidson has a shared history with African Americans in the motorcycling community and in American history. William B. Johnson, also known as Wild Bill Johnson, was the first black licensed racer to join the American Motorcyclists Association and to be granted a license to race. He was allowed into the American Motorcyclists Association only after he declared himself to be an American Indian. Born in 1890 in Maryland, William B. Johnson quickly became a renowned and skillful hill climb racer, securing many victories until his retirement in his 40s. Johnson was also the first African American owner of a Harley-Davidson dealership. Harley-Davidson was the first manufacturer of motorcycles to grant a dealership to anyone of African American heritage. Johnson did not need to pretend to be of African Indian descent to achieve this. He had proven his skills in riding and repairing Harleys for several years. He built his business from a converted blacksmith workshop until the Johnson's Harley-Davidson dealership was a household name that drew customers from far and wide for over 60 years. It is difficult to know what extent Johnson's association with the Harley influenced other African Americans to bond with the brand. Without a doubt, Harleys have always been close to the heart of the African American community. For example, in the 1930s and 40s, a young African American, Bessie Stringfield, took it upon herself to travel across each of the then 48 U.S. states alone on her beloved Harley, further securing the Harley's place in African American folk history. Bessie Stringfield was one of the earliest motorcycle pioneers who made history as the first black woman to ride solo across the country in 1930. Her endeavors were not without risk, as she was riding at a time when segregation was the law of the land. Instead of hotels that barred her from staying, she spent her nights in the homes of black families or even in gas station lots. The black biker community exists largely because of racism of the white side. Bessie Stringfield really put female riders on the map, especially during the time frame that she was riding all across the country. Los Angeles and Oakland, California are home to many things, and one of them is the black biker movement that started many years ago. When most people think of choppers and biker gangs, white males come to mind. Benjamin F. Hardy and coordinator Cliff Voss remained largely unknown and uncredited for years, as they were not accepted due to being African Americans and were not welcomed into the mainstream motorcycle world here in the United States. Hardy was a prominent black motorcycle engineer and chopper builder. He was known for creating the customized chopper. Ben Hardy opened Hardy's motorcycle service shop in Los Angeles soon after World War II and was a custom motorcycle builder best known for crafting some pretty iconic motorcycles. Hardy was also called the King of Bikes. Like Hardy, Cliff Voss was also a black motorcycle builder. Because black shops at the time couldn't buy parts directly from the Harley-Davidson dealer, when Voss needed parts, Ben Hardy would send them to a white motorcycle parts supplier that Hardy used to subsidize his shop. The Captain America chopper and Billy bike style was an outgrowth of an established legacy of African American chopper builders in South Central Los Angeles. Ben Hardy was the man who built the bikes ridden in the 1968 film Easy Rider. A man lost in history, yet was one of the men who built the most famous bike ever built. The film cemented the chopper, a custom motorcycle, as an American status symbol. The film made stars of actors Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper. Ben Hardy and Clifford Voss designed the iconic souped-up Harley-Davidson bikes, called Captain America and Billy, that Fonda and Hopper rode in the film. Neither Ben Hardy nor Cliff Voss ever managed to profit what they deserved from the fame that Easy Rider should have brought them. The Captain America bike sold for $1.35 million back in 2014, and the film made well over $60 million. That Cliff Voss and Ben Hardy have never properly been acknowledged as the men behind the world's most famous motorcycle is a complicated story. A result of racism, their personal disinterest in fame, and a contractual settlement with the film's financiers, Columbia Pictures. Motorcycle clubs started to form in the late 1950s. When Sonny Barger formed the White Oakland Hells Angels in 1957, a few miles up East 14th Street in East Oakland, California, a young black bike rider from Louisiana named Toby Gene Livingston was soon to follow in his footsteps. The two knew and respected each other and had ridden their Harleys together in the same East Bay neighborhood. The East Bay Dragons weren't the first African American biker club, but they are one of the oldest surviving predominantly black motorcycle clubs founded in California. In 1959, Toby Gene Livingston organized the East Bay Dragons, a loosely knit all-black men's club, one of the first of its kind. The Dragons' earliest beginnings started out as an all-black car club and originally stemmed from Toby Gene's big brother role to keep his younger brothers and friends occupied and out of trouble. The club switched over to motorcycles because they were cheaper and drew less attention from the police. Although there were 2 Harley-Davidson dealerships in Oakland, no dealership in the Bay Area would sell bikes to black customers. All the original founding members had to buy used bikes. The East Bay Dragons have a record of service to the community and have supported many local charitable organizations. They're also the only motorcycle club that coexisted peacefully with the Oakland Hells Angels, even though the Hells Angels are fiercely territorial with other clubs that claim the same space as them. Toby Gene Livingston had a long-standing relationship and friendship with Hells Angels patriarch Sonny Barger. Toby Gene was the East Bay Dragon Motorcycle Club's first and only president until his death in 2020. Thanks to criminal groups, there are still some stigmas attached to joining a biker club. People tend to jump to conclusions when they see a group of motorcycles cruising the streets or highways. Many clubs are composed of respectful, law-abiding citizens who simply want to join a community and share their passion for riding. It is also better to be with others when biking, as there is safety in numbers. Being part of a club and having other members with you can give you a great deal of security. Motorcycle clubs give you a sense of order and discipline with which to adhere. Each member has to observe rules so that most clubs are organized and continue their mission. Motorcycle clubs come in just about every shape and every size. Some are locally based and some are known globally. Freedom is the universal truth shared by all riders. The freedom of riding without limits, barriers, rules, or agendas. Regardless of what the club's mission is, the one thing that unites all motorcycle clubs is their love for the open road and their bike. Until next time, if you like little-known history facts as I do, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Press the bell to be notified of future uploads. Thank you for watching.